I've heard you say before, talk about ancestors, that our ancestors do matter, the people that came before us, and I would love to learn a bit more about that. So the way I heard it from you before is that when you're born, you're not a completely blank page.
No, you're not.
Already some things that you bring in with you.
Yeah, you bring all your, for a start, it depends on what you're talking about. They say the soul has many times been here, which I do agree with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's had experiences in various forms. The DNA of the body, your ancestors could go as far back as the monkeys. And before that, how the molding that came, the monkeys came up and they learned how to use a tool and then learned how to start walking on grassland, on their upper feet, and then learned how to make fire and so on, This is all part of our DNA, part also of the behavior of the body. The majority of the behavior of the body is the animal ancestor, not just the human part. The human part ancestor, if you will see it, went through a lot of warring, a lot of territory, trying to take territory, and so even tribal were fighting with each other, and people in the forest, they don't want people to come and hunt their land in their area, and monkeys are the same, and lions are the same, We have that character in the physical. That's in matter itself. I call this world as the world of the beast, the world of the animal. This is where this came from. The animal species, and it has its behavior of the animal. We're still, it's still, territorial. You can probably see it everywhere. You can see it that you have a house and you got a fence on it. You got to watch your neighbor what they throw over. If one of your neighbors got 2 dogs and they flick all the poo, what are you going to do? You're going to get upset. Off the poo of the dogs. But, that's not really, but anyway. So the territory, the good and bad is still in the animal too. They're so good to their children, the animals, so beautiful, like humans, or the image of the human. So good and kind to their children. Some animals, unfortunately, eat their children. And some humans are not good to their children, and that's just the behavior again. And the ancestors, like, the grandparents and the great-grandparents and their great-grandparents, they come from a world of experience. There's two. There are souls that go from one to the next, from one tree to the next tree sometimes. And there's some souls stick to the one tree. So, you've heard of chip off the old block. Have you heard of that? So whatever you get, from your parents, wherever they have, you're going to get that. And so are theirs. So they the same as well, and their grandparents are the same, and so on, and so on. So that becomes the ancestry line. That influences what they have done from the physical part, and different than what the soul does. The soul, as it comes into the world, it comes into the belly of the mother, of the body, already in there, and she becomes enlightened while she is pregnant, as the baby forms. And sometimes you know, she becomes lighter and, you know, and blooming, they say what, you know, and so on. That is because the soul is clearer than the body. And
so that's what people mean by the glow of a pregnant woman?
A glow of the pregnant woman, yes. Okay, so, but the woman's intellect, awareness, consciousness, intellect, intelligence, is where she's at. If she has not knew about who she was, that she is really a true human, if she does not understand how good, how holy she can be, then already she's in confusion. And so is the father. So the confusion between them both are bringing up the child in what they know best. But there's another good story. The souls now, and the intellect that's coming with the souls, have gained a lot more. It's a bit like some say, Jesus was the first flower that bloomed, and there'll be others that bloom, and then one time and there'll be a field of blooming, It's beautiful to feel that, So it could be that on the path now, it will happen at the same time as the Third World War, as I see it. But it will happen, the bloom, the soul and the intellect, the wiser, now will come in and start cleaning the parents and the ancestors. The more the soul gets attached to goodness, the more the radiance of the soul will glow, just like God glows. Like a little sphere, it goes in from in and then outside, and then it has no dimension, that glow. It'll go to the ancestors' path. It will also help purify the tree. It will also help purify for the future souls to come. It's a magnificent mercy, goodness.
It sounds like it.
It is, of course. This is called pure forgiveness and pure salvation. Salvation will come through intellect and really knowing yourself and completely knowing the nature of God and understanding God, the goodness.
It's wonderful. So, if I get that correctly, there are a lot of things from your past, from your ancestors, that might hang on to you, but through choosing the path of goodness, eventually.
Oh yes, but also you may have an ancestor soul that was also enlightened in the tree, that's also come forth, that maybe have got you to this state and me to this state. Holiness has no bound, forgiveness. It's through the intellect and information. It's not about taking sides. You don't take sides. It's not about taking sides. It's about just purely loving. Purely intellect, intelligence, kindness. Not them and us. We are one, some are trapped, and some are becoming freer, and some are free. That's all I see.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. That was good.
You're welcome.